Nate, are you in there?
Turner, come on in.
What's with all the trash?
It's not trash, it's my recycling.
Okay. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Listening to Staff Sergeant Van Ginkel talk about the green efforts at the Readiness Center during my tour last week has got me thinking about how to spread the word about recycling. What they've done to reduce the facility's environmental footprint is really impressive. I'm ready to take up the cause myself, but I'm struggling with what to do. These bins are my inspiration.
I know what you mean. Talking to someone who's really passionate about a cause can be inspiring. But I'm not so sure about all this. Hey, why don't you write something for the school's news channel? Or write an editorial?
I would like to write something, but I haven't got very far. Just a few thoughts and doodles.
I always spend time pre-writing when I start. Let's see what you've got. Oh, you've even got a nasty pizza box in here.
That is my lunch.
Oh.
Hold that thought. Will Prewriting help Turner get going on his promotion of going green? Will the Readiness Center's efforts triumph over trash? Join the knowledge seekers as they take up the cause of Prewriting in this episode of Thinking Aloud. Turner and Nate are wasting no time in championing their cause. Like all good writers, Turner values the process of pre-writing when undertaking any new work. Pre-writing, sometimes called percolating, is the invaluable pondering or brewing of thoughts around what would be interesting to write or to write about. Writers collect bits and pieces of ideas, lists of possible topics or key words, reading and conversation summaries, rough outlines, and even sketches and notes about their daydreamings, and constantly refer to them while writing. Often they keep track of these idea bits in a notebook or notepad. Pre-writing is a simple term for this creative and complex process. Each writer benefits from his or her own unique pre-writing style, which is constantly expanding and evolving. Ultimately, all should result in a clear purpose, well-defined audience, and an effective writing format. Skillful writers also know that the act of writing reveals writing. The thinking, starting and stopping, drafting and revising are well worth the effort because they lead writers in a direction towards their final draft.
You got a lot of really good stuff in here.
What do you mean? I've spent half the day on it and all I've got are a few notes, a couple of quotes from Staff Sergeant Van Ginkel, some random thoughts, and a doodle or two. I had hoped to have been done by now.
Are you kidding? This is what pre-writing is all about. I'd say you need to keep doing what you're doing. I learned about pre-writing during my writer's workshop. The advisors taught us to think of writing as a cook would think of the act of cooking. Pre-writing is similar to planning a meal. You have to have a menu, develop a list of topics and ideas like making a grocery list, collect research like buying ingredients for the meal, determine a time frame, and set out the proper utensils. And just as with cooking, sometimes when you're pre-writing, the heat is turned high, where words just flow, while at other times, a writer has to let ideas and words simmer. Here's the tablet I use for pre-writing. I'm constantly adding to it and flipping back to what I've written in the past to think through new topics.
Okay, but pre-writing could go on forever.
Well, in a sense it does, but there is a process to it. You collect and select, plan, develop and compose, read, collect and select some more, plan, compose some more, and read what you've already written. It's a cycle that continually refines and improves your work.
I hope pre-writing can help me narrow my focus. The topic of going green is enormous. I've already come up with the environment, pollution, global warming, recycling, overuse of plastics, and shrinking landfill space.
Focus on something you know about.
That's a good idea.
Try narrowing it even further to focus on plastic water bottle usage at school. You are always complaining about that. You've got notes here about the school's green efforts. Why not pull from your pre-writing and focus on the overuse of plastic water bottles?
And I mentioned here that I would like to motivate students, specifically the senior class.
There you go. Then your pre-writing continues around your new focus. You just keep what you have and add to it.
Maybe I'll write an editorial for the senior spotlight of the student newspaper. You know, the process the Readiness Center used to develop the Green campaign is a lot like the process of pre-writing.
Yeah.
It started with a couple of people brainstorming ideas and listing what they had seen at other armories. That evolved into collecting articles about recycling, conducting focus groups, and studying the habits of people at the center. They used that information to develop a plan. But Staff Sergeant Van Ginkel said they're constantly adding to and referring back to their initial research.
See, now you're cooking. You need some help cleaning this place up?
Remember, as the knowledge seekers write their way to a cleaner campus, that pre-writing is different for each person. You should start with what you know. Pre-writing can be messy. Often, it's not ordered. It can happen anywhere in any form. So always have your pen ready. While you're brewing ideas to write about, make sure you watch the next episode of Thinking Aloud.